What's going on, guys? It's me, Zach, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. It's here, it's week one, and with that, we're already going to get into the actual in season content. So I'm super excited about that. We got the NFL season here, we finally made it, and we really get to start off with a really fun game this season. I'm really happy to see that the first game of the year is probably not going to be a dud. Bills Rams should be really excited on Thursday, and I'm super excited for that, but plenty of great games this weekend. Really just started excited to see how these drafts all turned out and get our teams rolling. So super excited about that. I'm gonna be doing my Wednesday videos each week. Will be my starts of the week. I'll just be going over one player at each position that I think is really poised to have a sort of a boom week compared to their average. So these aren't necessarily players I'm expecting to perform as the number one player at their position that week, but I think they're players that I think you could say I expect to perform significantly higher than their average. And you could also sort of play this into a sort of DFS thing where I think all of these guys would be good values in DFS. That's another good way to look at it. Wednesday will also be the day each week that I get my rankings uploaded into my website, so feel free to use those with all your start sit questions. You're also more than welcome to ask me any start sit questions you have in the comments below. I'm happy to get back to all of you guys. I think I do a pretty good job getting back to everyone. Love making these start sit decisions with all you guys, so super exciting there. I do want to take a minute to thank everyone for all the support so far. I think we're at 263 subscribers as of the time of this recording, so probably not going to hit that 300 goal by the start of the season, but I didn't really think that was going to happen anyway, and still super appreciative of all the support we've been getting. It's been really awesome to see how many people of you actually care to hear what I have to say, so that's really exciting. And if this is your first time to the channel, I do want to thank you for stopping by, and hope you get something out of these videos and hope I can help you win your league. If you do feel like anything's valuable here, please do just take a minute to like the video. It really helps with the algorithm. And if you want to stay up to date and get more videos as they come, please do subscribe as well and click the bell so you get notifications when I upload videos. There will continue to be 3 videos a week throughout the course of the season. I'll be doing a waiver video, a trade target video, and a starts of the week video throughout each week. And there will be a chance I sprinkle in some DFS stuff as well on top of that. So there will be plenty of content coming out throughout the course of the season, and the website will stay updated as best as I can as well. So with that, let's get into the first player. Starting off with my quarterback start of the week this week, it's Jalen Hurts. He gets a really juicy matchup with the Detroit Lions this week, in a matchup that I still expect the Eagles to throw the ball quite a bit. I think the Eagles are going to sort of surprise people with how much they do want to air it out this season, especially given that they've added A.J. Brown and that Miles Sanders is not 100% to start the season. They did claim Trey Sermon off of waivers, and it turns out they were also interested in trading for him before he was released by the 49ers. So that says to me that they're not all that confident at all in Miles Sanders being 100% healthy. And they've already talked up Gainwell quite a bit, and we all know that Gainwell is more usable in the passing game than the running game. So I think that the Eagles might surprise people with how much they throw the ball. I do still think the Eagles are going to be a pretty run-centric team when you take into account how often Jalen Hurts is going to run the ball, but we don't really that's not a negative for Jalen Hurts. So I love Jalen Hurts in the course of the season. If you guys followed me so far, you do know that I'm a big fan of Jalen Hurts. I think he's got a realistic shot of finishing as the quarterback 1 this season. And I do believe I have him ranked as my quarterback 2 this week. I think the consensus ranking has him around quarterback 4 or 5. So I'm much higher on Jalen Hurts than consensus this week. But obviously, if you have Jalen Hurts, you're starting him. But I do think he is one of the better values in DFS. And I think a lot of the reason why for that is that the Lions offense should be able to do enough during this game that the Eagles can't just sort of put the game in cruise control and just bleed clock with Boston Scott and Miles Sanders. I think the Lions are going to put up enough points that the Eagles do have to keep scoring themselves, and the Eagles are going to be more than capable of doing that with their new weapons and against a pretty bad defense that's going to play hard, but just not really be able to stop people again this season. Moving into my running back start of the week this week, that's going to be Nyheim Hines. I think this one might be a little surprising for some people because he is sort of just really off of a lot of people's fantasy radars, and I think you can pretty much start Nyheim Hines with confidence this week. I think that the Colts are going to really put this game away early against the Houston Texans. They're going to come out swinging, and they're going to score early, and the game might be out of hand by halftime. So I think there's a lot of reason to expect the Colts to really run the ball quite a bit during the second half, and they've already talked quite a bit about wanting to save Jonathan Taylor for the playoffs and the home stretch of the season. So I think they're going to really try to limit his workload in situations where they can, sort of similar to how the Chargers have limited Eckler's workload pretty strategically. So I think that there's a world that exists where Hines sort of just gets the fourth quarter to himself here, and he's going to be involved early in the game as well. They've already talked up his role quite a bit. I think he's going to be extremely involved in the passing game, and there's a realistic chance where he finishes top 3 on this team in targets at the end of the season. So I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Nyheim Hines get 15 total touches this week, with 5 of those being receptions. And with how bad this defense is against the for the Texans, I think that there's a very real opportunity for Nyheim Hines to put together a touchdown and 80 total yards on 5 receptions as well. So Nyheim Hines really could be a really high-end flex play this week, and he's super cheap in DFS, so I love him there. And I love Jonathan Taylor in DFS too. I think there's room for these Colts running backs to put together 200 total yards and 3 touchdowns, and I think that it's just not going to be all Jonathan Taylor. In one of my home leagues, I do have Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines, and I'm going to play both of them this week. It is a bit of a deeper league where we have 3 receivers and 2 flex spots, so I'm not necessarily saying he's an auto flex if you're in your typical 10-team, 2 receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex league, but Nyheim Hines is going to have a pretty good week this week, and I think he's going to be usable throughout the course of the season as well, but this is definitely a week I'm excited for him. My wide receiver start of the week this week is Gabriel Davis. I'm super excited about Gabriel Davis this season. He's a player that I've targeted in a lot of my drafts, and I really do expect to have a breakout season this season. I think we're going to get our first taste of that on Thursday night. I do really expect this to be a shootout in week 1 against the Rams. The Rams are actually home underdogs this week, but the Rams are going to score plenty of points. It's going to be a really competitive game, and the Bills have shown that they're more than willing to throw the ball 15, 20 times in a row to start the game, and the Rams have a really stout defensive line. It should make the Bills even more pass heavy and not want to depend on the run, and they can't really get any more pass heavy than the Bills already are. So I think the Bills are really going to sling the ball around, and Jalen Ramsey is probably going to follow Diggs this week. I'd be shocked if Ramsey doesn't primarily focus on Diggs throughout the game. So I think that Gabe Davis is really going to be a guy that finds himself open quite a bit. And I really won't be shocked at all if Gabe Davis finds himself with 2 touchdowns by the end of the game. He's certainly got a nose for the end zone. He's not shocked me at all if Gabe Davis finishes the season as the receiver for the Bills with the most touchdowns. Hell, Gabe Davis honestly could lead the AFC or NFL in receiving touchdowns this year if things break right. And I think for the same reason I sort of mentioned, I do think Isaiah McKenzie could also have a great week this week, but he's certainly a much deeper flyer. He's a player you could play as a flex play in a deeper league or as a nice value on DFS, but I'm not exactly looking to start McKenzie everywhere, but fire up Gabe Davis everywhere you have him. He's going to have an awesome week this week, and it's going to be a great start to the rest of his year. And last but not least, my tight end start of the week is Dalton Schultz. This one took me a little bit longer to decide on because there weren't really any tight ends that stood out to me with really great matchups this week, but the Cowboys will be starting the season without Michael Gallup, at least for week 1, so Dalton Schultz is slotted in as their probably guaranteed number 2 target, and they're going to be playing the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football, and the Buccaneers will put up points this week. I'm not at all really confident in the Cowboys defense being nearly as good as they looked last year because they were just so opportunistic, and that didn't seem very repeatable for me. So the Cowboys are likely going to be a defense that gives up quite a few points, especially against a good offense in the Buccaneers. And we all know the Buccaneers can stop the run really well, so I won't be shocked at all if the Cowboys find themselves down early and can't run the ball. So they're going to need to throw the ball quite a bit, and after CeeDee Lamb, there's not really anybody else for them to throw to. Dalton Schultz is certainly a guy that's going to get a lot of targets, and I think he's going to be moderately efficient with them, so I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Schultz get 10 to 12 targets this week and end up with a 6 for 50 and a touchdown sort of game. So I think Dalton Schultz is a really good shot to finish inside the top 5 of the tight end position this week. I believe I have him ranked as my tight end 4 this week, so his consensus, I believe, is tight end 5 or 6 behind Kittle and Waller. So pretty excited about Dalton Schultz this season as well, but especially early on in the season in these matchups they are going to have to put up a lot of points. I think Dalton Schultz is going to be a pretty great play. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.